Cycling and
And
recycling.
upcycling and recycling. Yes, sir.
Recycling, yeah. Very good, very good. Very, I love that. Okay, yeah. I know everybody have one or two lessons that we learned so far during the course of this academy. So this is a sign that it's just a sign that our coming year is not a waste. So for the fact that we are learning new things, definitely that's the reason for us to come back. So very quickly, we'll dwell into the open knowledge section. And currently, if I'm right, I have three group that have sent their presentation by now. So we still have grace before the end of, okay, I have three and I have written, okay. You still have grace before the end of this open knowledge to send in your presentation. So and by now I've sent the order of presentation to the group. So once we start, we'll tell you the order I would say again. So right about now, we'll be inviting our guest speaker for tonight. She's here with us. But before I invite her, I just wanted to tell you a brief background about what we are going to do tonight. Plugging Nigeria, by tomorrow, they will tell you what Plugging Nigeria really entails. But in summary, we preach sustainability, and a aim of Plugging Nigeria is this course of the academy for those that don't know about the club before. And about the environment, there is an environmental rights and law that you need to know. Yes, just like this popular Instagram influencers, he will say, what did the law say? So we are just here to teach you the law angle, the rights and law angle of environment, so that if you find yourself whereby you need to apply it, you'll be able to know, okay, this is my right, this is what I need to do, and this is my responsibility as a citizen to mother earth in our environment. So our speaker tonight is one of a team in Plugging Nigeria. We have legal and compliance team. So just in case anybody wants to sue us to court, we know our right as well. So we are just here to tell you the legal and of the environment, as I've said. So permit me to introduce to you one of the team, a person of um Green Switch Academic Master Adeife. I don't know if she's with us, Precious Adeife. Are you with us, please?
Yes, I am. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, very well.
Uh,
So, over to you, man.
okay.
Why
So,
I get your slide ready?
all right. So, hi everyone. Good evening. It feels really nice to be here as a tutor for this year's Green Switch cohort, because I was a greenie in the 17th cohort. That's how life moves very fast. So, just like Jisam Anu said, I would be taking a session on the legal angle to environmental sustainability. And my specific topic would be on what our environmental laws are and what rights we have. And it's very important for us to know them. So just while it is, I decided up yet, or should I just
Okay,
continue?
yeah, please continue if you can. Very soon, few minutes, I'll get it.
All right. So we'll just go straight into it. Please, if you can't hear me at any point, please let me know so that I can go back to it. So the topic that would be taking is environmental rights and laws you should know. And majorly, the next slide I'm supposed to show is a picture of my face, but I am your facilitator for today, and my name is Precious Adeife Adeomi. I'm a team member of the legal and compliance team at Plugin Nigeria. Once again, it feels very nice to be here. The outline for our conversation today is going to be majorly premised on 5 things: that introducing what environmental rights and laws are, and talking about the constitutional provisions and environmental rights that actually exist in Nigeria and are applicable in Nigeria. Then um, just give you a sneak peek into what the key environmental laws are in Nigeria. including the enforcement mechanisms and compliance techniques that are in place to ensure that these rights are actually followed to the letter. And they are just practical applications that are included of environmental laws in Nigeria that would be in form of case study, majorly decided cases on what the enforcement from these environmental laws that we have been. So before we go into the main gist of today's session, I would like us to take this icebreaker. I just need about 3 persons. So the question is, would you rather clean up a local park or build a community garden? So I'll just check my screen now and see. So the question once again is, would you like to clean up a local park or build up a community garden? So I think on my screen I can see Adebi Moyosore. Okay. Yes. Adebi Moyosore, can you unmute yourself? Or if she's not on the call, is Azizat on the call?
Good evening, ma'am. On the call, but my network is really bad and I did not hear what you said earlier.
Okay, so currently we are taking icebreakers, and the question is, would you rather clean up a local park or build a community garden?
I'd rather clean up.
Okay, interesting choice. Thank you very much for engaging.
Thank you, ma.
Abdurazak on the call. Hi, Abdurazak. I don't think Abdurazak is here. Who else? Okay, hi, good evening.
Good evening. Okay, I'd rather clean.
Did you? Wow, that's really interesting. Everybody wants to clean the park. Nice choice. I need a guy this time. Why am I picking ladies? Or there are no guys on the call. If you're a guy and you'd love to engage with this icebreaker, please can you just unmute your mic? I'm trying to look for a guy, but I can't find it. Okay, Abdul Fatai. I hope this person is a guy. So, is Abdul Fatai on the call? No, I don't think so.
Yes, I am.
Okay, very, very nice. So, which would you pick? Would you rather clean up a local park or would you build a community garden?
I would rather clean a local park.
Wow, nice. Then. All right then. So straight into the session. For those that want to still engage with the icebreaker, you can just drop what your choice would be in the chat section. I'm very sure that a lot of people would have really interesting choices. So straight into the business that we have for today, majorly. What exactly are environmental rights and laws? Just introducing us to it. So we need to understand that in keeping the environment clean and healthy, it cannot be only achieved by getting us to talk in sessions like this and educating people on it, right? There are also extra efforts that need to be put in place. And one of such extra efforts is the establishment of regulatory frameworks that ensure that all of these things that we are trying to achieve are brought to fruition. So a report by Britannica recorded that legislations exist at various levels, and that's including the national and international levels. And these regulations and environmental laws are embedded in the enactments of various legislative bodies. That is, they have been collapsed into the Constitution, environmental law treaties, human rights treaties of the international organizations and the national organizations as well. So we have over 100 countries all over the world that have included all of these environmental rights that we will be discussing. some of which we'll be discussing in their constitutions. And environmental rights majorly, it covers the balanced aspect of the environment as it relates to the whoever the human is. That is, just like we have human rights, we have environmental rights that are more like a developmental rights under the human rights, and they can be enjoyed by citizens of any particular country as well. So the United Nations Environmental Program has also reported that about two-thirds of the constitutional rights that are to be enjoyed by every citizen of the country, they are included in these environmental rights. And these rights, they are not like, say, non-justiciable rights, non-justiciable in the sense that they cannot be enforced. Like, they are actually statutory. They are written in the constitution, and you have to enjoy them. Just like you have rights to life, rights to dignity of human person, you have to also enjoy these environmental rights. And the Environmental Rights Initiative has listed about 47 environmental related rights that are available to citizens to enjoy. So the environmental rights that we have applicable in Nigeria, we have 47, just like I said. But for the purpose of this presentation, due to time constraint or any other factor, I outlined 5 of them, and I included a link, a useful link. So anybody that gets the presentation slide afterwards, you can check the link to get more insights on more environmental rights that we have. So we have rights to physical health. Right to physical health in the sense that as much as you are taking care of your body and ensuring that, oh, I have to be fit and proper for anything, it is also your right to actually be physically healthy. And how can you be physically healthy? You don't have to be physically healthy by your own self. The government has to also ensure that all of the things that could contribute to the physical health of any human being are properly provided for. Then we actually have them embedded in
Please, can you hear me?
international treaties, just like I said, like the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Precious, can you hear me? Hello, Precious, can you hear
To right to a clean environment. You can find all of these rights in the Constitution and in international rights. And I feel like one of the most interesting things that I found out while preparing for this presentation was seeing that we actually have rights. We actually have rights to food. And I'm like, someone saying something. Please confirm that you can hear me though.
Yeah, we can hear
Can you hear
you.
me?
All right.
We can hear you, man, but your voice is cracking.
Oh, I think it's network of where I am currently. Sorry.
All right,
So
man.
if you can hear me, Precious, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so if you can hear me, I'd like us to fix the slide issue before you move on. So like, I don't know if
Okay.
anyone can see my screen. If I'm sharing the right thing.
I can see your screen. Environmental rights explained.
So like,
How's it?
what slide are you on, Precious?
Yeah, I'm currently on slide 5.
5, right? Okay,
Yes.
so I'm on the right place. Huh? Am I on the right screen?
Yes.
Okay. We can go on now.
All right. So, like I was saying, okay, please can you move to slide 6? Okay. So just like I was saying earlier, that is the link that I attached to actually get to see more environmental rights that we have. And I was explaining that I found it interesting to see that human beings actually have rights to food. And I was wondering what happens to all of those people that they don't actually have access to good food or good meals. But I guess that's going to be the issue of the ECOSOC or something to deal with. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, I think I'll just go on. So the next is constitutional provisions for environmental rights in Nigeria. So constitutional provisions for environmental rights in Nigeria. What are these rights that we have in Nigeria that are constitutionally provided for? So we understand that we have rights already, but are they actually applicable in Nigeria? So in 2017, Nigeria was listed among other countries in all over the world, actually, like Gambia, Estonia, Sri Lanka, and other countries, that they were categorized as countries that have constitutional provisions for a healthy environment. So in Nigeria's constitution, Section 20 of the 1999 Constitution provides for it that one of the objectives of Nigerian state is to improve and protect the air, land, water, forest, and wildlife of Nigeria. So, GSAM, you can't see your screen anymore, but I'll just continue on my end. So, I think they'll fix the slide issue afterwards. But can I continue though, while we wait for them to fix the slides?
Yeah, please continue. Our network is not as stable. Continue. Please continue. Go ahead, please. You can go ahead. Can you hear me? You can go ahead. Can anyone hear me, please?
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Okay.
I think Precious left the meeting. Maybe she has network glitch.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so while she's away, I'll just take over. So when she joins, she can take over from me. So
Okay.
she's on she was talking about the fact that in Nigeria, our constitution also provides, for environmental protection. So as per Section 20 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, so it states that it is an objective of the Nigerian state to improve and protect the air, land, water, forest, and wildlife of Nigeria. So just to summarize that, it means that the government has the right, has that responsibility to protect and safeguard the environment. So this right is embedded in the Constitution. So whether or not this right is enforceable is another debate entirely, because the environmental rights under Nigerian Constitution are actually unenforceable due to the part of the Constitution where they were categorized. So let's just move on. As time goes on, would maybe see more of that. So Section 12 further establishes impliedly that international
Hi,
treaties.
can everyone hear me?
Okay, Precious is back.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I think I stopped at
You can just move from section 12, international
okay
treaties.
from section 12. All right, thank you very much. So sorry for that internet glitch once again. So just like I was explaining, section 12 further provides that these international treaties and environmental treaties inclusive, they've been ratified by the National Assembly and therefore they should be implemented as law in Nigeria. So there's a thing with international treaties that if they are not ratified and domesticated by a particular country, there is no way that that law is going to be applicable in that particular country. So for these rights that I included, like the international conventions, treaties that are included in the previous slide when I was talking about environment, they've been ratified and domesticated in Nigeria. So all of those rights are applicable in Nigeria as well. And we could actually see that these environmental rights are also linked with Section 33 and 34 of the Fundamental Human Rights. That is, Section 33 guarantees rights to life and Section 34 guarantees human dignity. And they've been linked together with environmental rights because when we think about having a clean and safe environment, pushing for healthy living and all of those things, they are intertwined with having your right to life, because if you are habitating in a place that is not safe, there is no way that you can actually have say, oh, your right to life is preserved. So knowing with the knowledge that these rights are actually provided for and established in Nigeria. So what are the key environmental laws that we have in Nigeria? I think one of the most standard acts that we have is the National Environmental Standards and Regulation Enforcement Agency Act, NESRA. It was established, actually enacted in 2007, and it replaced the Federal Environmental Protection Act. This particular act is actually administered by the Ministry of Environment, and its major focus is on the protection of sustainable development by enhancing the environment and its natural resources. For all of these environmental laws in Nigeria, there are actually sections, notable sections that need to be paid attention to, and this includes Section 7, 8, and 27 for this particular act in the NESRA. So Section 7 provides for the compliance, everything that deals with compliance of the act. Section 8 provides for the powers that are available to the Ministry of Environment to actually take actions in relating to the environment and all those things. And Section 27 provides for the prohibition of these particular actions by potential offenders against the environment. So the NESRA act as an organization, as an act, and under this act, there are regulations. There are about 35 regulations. Some of them are like sanitation and waste control regulations, then the noise standards and control regulations. I also added a link here in case you want to check out more regulations and know more about NESRA. You can just check the link anytime you get a hold of this particular presentation slide. The NESRA actually has a spot on their website where you can report environmental mishaps. So if you know anybody that is actually doing wrong to the environment, you can definitely reach out to NESRA and they'll take the necessary step. So next slide, we have other environmental laws, which include the Environmental Impact Assessment Act of 2004. And this particular one, it assesses the impact of projects that are being carried out in the environment. It could be public, it could be private owned projects. So anything that they would be doing that is not in tandem with the regulations or stipulations of this particular authority, then they have to stop work on it. I also included a useful link where you can go and check out more on this particular act in depthly. So this is like a summary of what they actually do. So if you are free, you can definitely check it out. Then on next slide, we have the Nigerian Urban and Regional Planning Act that was also enacted in 2004. And the major aim is to oversee a realistic and purposeful planning of the country, engineered towards ensuring that overcrowding is not something that sees the light of day in Nigeria. So the act also provides for the requirements, everything that deals with the application process for maybe they want to build a new house, they want to build a new company, and all those things to just ensure that that overcrowding or congestion in different places does not exist. So I would say this particular image that I attached is me saying I feel like the Nigerian Urban and Regional Planning Act is a way of guarding the environment, and that is what every one of us should also do. We also have other environmental laws, like on the next slide, we have the Harmful Waste Special Criminal Provisions Act, also enacted in 2004. There's also the Endangered Species Act of 2004. We can check out all of these links that I attached here. We can see more of the laws on
I think Precious is gone off the meeting again. It's probably a network. So I'm just going to continue from where she stopped till she comes back in. So she was talking about the laws we have in Nigeria, I mean environmental laws that we have in Nigeria, and she's mentioned, um laws like the Environmental Impact Assessment Act, NESRA. She's mentioned the Urban and Regional Planning Act and the likes. She's also included a link to, more of these laws. And I think she would want to talk about some other laws as well. So for oil and gas, we also have the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency. That's not NOTRA for oil waste, gas flaring, and all of that. So it provides against oil spillage and the likes. So let's move to enforcement and enforcement mechanism and compliance. So we know we have a lot of laws in Nigeria, not just in Nigeria, globally. We have a lot of environmental laws, so many of them, international treaties, protocols, conventions. There is COP, so many platforms where the whole world is trying to promote environmental sustainability, environmental protection, and sustainable living. We have a lot of this, but the issue with environmental law lies with enforcement. So as beautiful as they are, the major challenge has been with enforcement. So we have environmental laws, we have regulations, we have at the state level, at the federal level, at the international level, we have all of these laws. But then when it comes to enforcement, it can be a major challenge because many people don't take environmental laws very seriously. They don't even take it seriously at all. So we see it as, something that we can just get away with. So you infringe, you violate these laws, and you just go scot-free. We've seen industries, we've seen, companies, we've seen people just violate environmental laws and then get away with it. And we've also seen cases where people have been punished. There has been sanctions, for violations of environmental law. But generally, anyways, I think the issue lies with enforcement. So, let's look at.
Thank you very much, Ma.
Okay, Precious.
Sorry, my device went off. I had to switch to another. So I think where I met off was the enforcement mechanisms. And just like she said, we have a lot of laws, but I think most of the time, one thing that we actually have issues with is implementation and enforcement. And I find it really funny or interesting to see that there are federal ministry of there's like the Federal Ministry of Environment, there are state ministries of environment, and if we actually look at it, there are like different states that also say, okay, under Lagos State, we have a ministry, so it's Lagos State Ministry of Environment, and yet we still have a lot of issues with people breaking these environmental laws and everything. So it then begs the question, what exactly is the point? Why do we have a lot of, would we say we just have them not existing for as figureheads or anything? So it's also interesting to know that there are actually practical applications of these environmental laws that we have in Nigeria. And we must also affirm that enforcing these laws by these authorized agencies, they have a lot of factors that hinder them. It could range from, say, ignorance or poverty on the right side of the person that reported the case. Okay, because it is not only about littering the floor, even causing discomfort to your neighbor or causing harm to your neighbor with their noise or any other type of pollution could be a way of violating this act. So we affirm that yes, this particular enforcement, they can actually be stumped by these factors. But the courts have been able to enforce these punishments that are stipulated by the various enforcement agencies or the various authorities. And one of such cases is between MK Abiola and Ijoma. So in this particular case, the person that filed the case, he decided to sue the supposed offender, the said offender, for disturbing his comfort. And this person that is being discomforted said, oh, you are actually impairing my health through this particular action of yours. And what did the court do? The court granted the injunction that was sought by the particular plaintiff, that the person that sued the other party to court. So the court granted that prohibitive order to ensure that whatever was causing discomfort to that particular person was stopped. And they also claimed damages. So the damages accrued to a sort of sum of £100 for that person. So it is not the case that we have laws and they are just dormant. We actually have laws and they work perfect. It's just that I think most of the time we do not have a lot of these things come to play than we would normally want it. Another one of such of those cases is between Tebite and Nigeria Marine Trading Company Limited. So just like that particular one, this one also caused discomfort to the plaintiff. That was why the person was forced to sue the defendants to court. So the plaintiff insisted that the defendants were making noise, excessive noise, and the actions from their workshop was also discharging fumes into the air, into the atmosphere. And these fumes was causing a lot of damage to the person, was causing discomfort to the person. Just like the earlier case I mentioned, this person also filed for an injunction to restrict the continuing of the project that was going on. So it just ties it back to the part about the Environmental Assessment Act. So would it be the case that these people that decided to carry out this project did not actually read through it, that okay, they would be violating the EIA Act by carrying out this particular action? So these are the things. regardless of the enlightenment, we also find out that oftentimes than not, we see people that are still blatantly refusing to actually follow these particular laws that have been stipulated. So we have other references, and I included them: Moore versus Nado, then there's Vanderpart versus Mayfair Hotel Company Limited. I did not include a link to these cases, but if I get any, I would definitely pass it across to GSAM to say maybe include it to the slides before it is sent. So just a quick recap of all the things that we have said so far, from understanding what the environmental laws and rights are, to helping us know that these rights are actually applicable to Nigeria because they have been domesticated and ratified into the country's constitution, and also knowing that Section 20 and Section 12, they affirm to the fact that environmental laws and rights actually have to be taken and held in high esteem in Nigeria, and also understanding some of the key environmental laws that we have and the practical applications by the courts, and also the enforcement and compliance techniques that we have through the agencies that have been established. So conclusively, you can always imagine the negative impact that the unhealthy environments have on not only lives but also properties. I mean, when there is a drought or natural disaster and all of those things, it affects properties, it affects life, and that is not one of the environmental rights that we are supposed to be enjoying. I mean, it's our right to enjoy physical health. If someone gets caught up in a tsunami, that person definitely has their physical health taken away from them. So it makes habitation very hostile when we don't have these particular laws being put in place or being effected to ensure that all of the rights that everyone is supposed to enjoy, they are enjoyed properly. So what is the summary of it all? We know that we have environmental rights. We know that we have laws. But what do we have to do on our part? As humans, we have to contribute our own tidbits to ensuring that enforcement and compliance to these laws are highly esteemed. So it's just like that particular um, copy line from, say, this particular campaign. If you see something, you need to say something. You need to speak up and report cases of environmental mishaps, anyone that you see in your community. That is beyond wanting to clean up a local park, just like the icebreaker that we had from the beginning of the session, beyond wanting to clean up a local park. And I saw someone say, oh, they want to actually build a tree. So beyond all of those things, and beyond sensitizing everyone to actually do better with the environment, I think we also need to take conscious efforts to ensure that nothing actually, we don't leave any stone unturned. That is by ensuring that we report these environmental cases as and when due. So thank you very much for listening. And I don't know if anybody has questions. I would very much love to take them now.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Barrister. Really appreciate that section. So quickly, because of our time, do we have question from anybody? Any question? You have question from anybody? Any question, please? If there's no question, I want to assume or believe you all understand, but then want to give for question, please. In the space of 5-10 seconds, if I didn't see anybody, I would pick up the chance. So please. All right. Thank you very much. Maybe perhaps the question comes again after your section. Maybe you just try to remember something and you want to ask, yeah, you can reach out to me. So we'll help you reach out to our guest speaker so that you can have an answer to your question. Thank you very much. Really appreciate your presence in our Miss Barrister Adefe. Then to the team lead, she's the one that tried to cover up when I talk. But permit me, I will just go by the name I have here, Barrister Noluwapo Charity Omotenshi. Thank you very much. Really appreciate the presence as well. She's the team lead for legal and compliance team for Plugin Nigeria. So they just give us an insightful part on what we need to know about the legal terms of our rights and position in the society. Thank you very much for coming. We really appreciate your presence. Thank you. So right away, we'll be dwelling straight into the presentation. And for the sake of record, I only have 3 groups that have sent their presentation to me. They have sent to me, I have actually acknowledged the fact that I have seen it. So we have 5 out of 5, really have 3 groups that have sent. So right about now, I'll be sending the order in the income message chat room so that we can see the order at which we are going to present. Just like it has been stated, you have the chance to the maximum of 2 presenters and minimum of 1. Please, I want to be sure you can all hear me. Can you hear me, please, before I continue? If you can hear me, please let me know.
Yes, I can hear you, Jason.
Okay, thank you very much. So it is stated already that you have the opportunity to bring in 2 presenters and you can bring in 1 as the case may be. So the presentation will be done in this order. I have sent it already, so we can just check data tales, virtual tales, oral tales, written tales, video tales. So to be in that order. So you only have 8 minutes per presentation. For the sake of network, please permit us. We have your slide already for those that have sent their slide across to us. We have your slide, but the point is we will present here in our end. So for the sake of network and time frame, just go on with your presentation, even if you are not trying to meet up with the slide because of network. Although we will try our very much possible best to meet up with you with whatever you are saying. We will try and we will try very much possible. But in case network would not allow us, please go ahead because we have judges in our midst already that will be judging us, and they might not really give that chance of network glitch and all of that. So please, let's take note of that. As I've said, we will try our own very possible best to meet up. So you have 8 minutes. So what I will do is once you start, I will be the timekeeper as well. So once I start, after 8 minutes, if you do not round up your presentation, I have the opportunity to unmute you from here. So once I unmute you, definitely the rest of the participants can actually hear what I am saying. So we'll move on to the next group. So I will just give us 60 seconds. That's 1 minute for everybody to get ready. Because once we start and the next person stop, we move on immediately. I'll just give us 60 seconds for us to get ready in our various space. So please find an angle that has the best network so that will not be an excuse for us. So once it's 8:28, once it's 8:28, the first group, which is data tales, can start up. Once it's please go ahead, please.
Good evening, everybody. Please, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, my name is Ruth Akibe Okwebo, and I'll be presenting for Data Tales GSAG today for the GSAG debate and presentation. Before I continue, I would like to open up with this quote from Todd Davenport. Data analysis is the process of taking data and turning it into information which can be used to make informed decisions. Now, today we are going to explore the fascinating world of data tales, which entails telling stories through numbers. And in this era where information and data is very key and crucial, we have to understand the narrative of data, and we have to know and understand it, if it is being misinterpreted, if we are being deceived. So as we go on today in this course of my explanation, we'll find out more about telling stories through data. Now, what is Data Tales GSAG? Data Tales GSAG, which I proudly represent tonight, practices storytelling using data and analytics to build a powerful narrative to a specific audience. Now, computing data is a very tasky and tricky act that requires genuine care and focus. If not, you could misimpute one value, and we know that when we do that, we've already tampered with the authenticity of the actual data in question. So we require utmost attention when we're trying to tell stories using data rather. Now, data visualization or data storytelling and data visualization. Now, they might sound alike, but they are not the same. While data storytelling is telling stories using data, convincing narratives that break down complex data, visualization, on the other hand, is using graphs, charts, maps, and even animations to help give a visual explanation of whatsoever data and to tell a story. So both use of data and analytics in their foundation, but they just express their data and analysis in different ways. Now next is the advantages of data storytelling. When we tell stories using data, the first point there says it makes data more relatable. Like you can see the numbers, you can know, okay, this is where we're starting from. It was 1, tomorrow it is 2, tomorrow it is 3. There's a build up, so it's more understandable. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes,
I'll just
we can
continue.
hear you.
And secondly, it enhances credibility. When there are values there, it gives you this notion that, okay, well, this particular presentation or story know what they are doing. It makes it credible. And then it also fosters collaboration. I'll try and come up with a story now or an instance. So if we are being told, for instance, that in the year 2010, okay, let me just come up with that story, that 10%, okay, the heat level, or okay, let's use heat, that the world now is hotter than it used to be like 10 years ago because of the emission of gases and the rate of population of people in the world and the things that we do. We have contributed to global warming and we have increased the heat of the world by, let's say, 40%. Because of this data and the fact that you can see, we're doing a lot of damage, it could foster collaboration. All right, let's come together and see how we can solve this problem. It also inspires action. When you see the problem, it is very glaring. Using data saying, okay, this is 0.04% damage that is being done, it encourages and inspires action. And not just any kind of action, it encourages data-driven decision making. Because you have the data, you know exactly what you are targeting, and it helps you to know what procedures would be useful in targeting this data. Okay, there are other, and the next slide shows data. The first one says CO2 concentrations have risen from 280 parts per million in pre-industrial times to over 415 parts per million today. This tells us that before we start having industrialization, paint making industries, paper making industries, and so on and so forth, the CO2 concentrations we had in the atmosphere was just low as 280 parts per million. But now, as at the year 2022, we have increased that value to 415 parts per million. So with this data, and there are others here which I may not be reading out because of time, so that I can cover other areas. It talks about ocean acidity, which has increased by 30%. Then it talks about global temperature that has also increased by 1% since late 1800s. So all of this data here, and with all of this data, as you see them outlined out now, it could help you to inspire the action you take and help you to be more convinced to take data-driven decisions. Now, we know that everything that has an advantage would almost certainly have a disadvantage. What are the disadvantages of data storytelling? Number one, we have inaccurate or incomplete data. Because I know artificial intelligence is beginning to take over the world, but until we get to 100% takeover of artificial intelligence, we still require humans to compute most of the data that we use. Maybe not compute, but require them to go to the field, take all this data, write them down. And because of this human or humane part of it, human error could occur that could lead to inaccuracy of data, or a person can just, I'm tired, I don't feel like going out to the field today, and they just compute data in their rooms. So we could have incomplete data. Then two, we have complex data presentation. Complex data presentation is a fact. Then in the next slide, I don't know if you can see the slides, but there's a picture of a very complex data there that is not being explained. So imagine I was telling a story and I just present this to you without properly explaining it. You will lose interest because all you can see are lines moving up and down. It's a little bit cumbersome to understand. Then it can be uninteresting. It just looks uninteresting. This thing looks foreign to me, so I don't understand it. It could make you lose interest. It could make you not want to be a partaker of the process. So these are some of the disadvantages we have for data storytelling. But the beautiful thing is that these disadvantages can be improved and can be worked on to make them become better. And one of the suggestions we have on the slide is to ensure data quality and accuracy. And how do we ensure data quality and accuracy? The first point there says to collaborate with trusted data sources such as government agencies, research institutions, and even international organizations. So instead of just getting data from one source, you can collaborate. Collaboration means combining efforts with other sources that you believe they can give you good data. So some of those agencies or some of those sources are government agencies, and we know that in the government sector, we have more than just one person working on a particular field. So with the more hands, we believe that there will be more credible data. Then research institutions, these institutions carry out research, and then their data too could be credible. Then international organizations too can be trusted. Then number two says verify data through multiple sources and fact checking processes. So before any data is taken to be the final value, it will have to be proved.
Thank you very much. Time is up. Thank you very much for that presentation. Time boy, your time is up. You have to pick it up from you. So the next the next group should get ready. Start now. Picture to start. Picture to short tales. Your time starts already.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, GG Sams, G Sams, panel of judges, moderator, the most supportive GSAG members of Visual Sales, and fellow Greenies. My name is Betsy Adache, and I'll be representing my GSAG, where we are presenting to you all the power of visual tale, inspiring climate action in Nigeria, West Africa. Now, John Ruskin said, please, sorry, you all should permit me. Where I am is a bit dark, but assuredly at the end of this presentation, it will be, you will see our faces. So without further ado, John Ruskin said, the greatest thing a human soul can do is to see something. To see clearly is poetry, prophecy, and religion all in one. Now, moving to the next slide, which is the presentation outline, is everything our presentation entails. So without further ado on that, I would move to visual tales, the power of visual storytelling. Now, in a world where attention flees, stories remain, a powerful breeze. Visual tales, a unique blend of imagery, narrative, emotion that transcends. Now, visual tales, what we represent, is a unique form of storytelling that combines imagery, narrative, and emotion. It has emerged as a compelling way to inspire change. Now, I want you all to do something. I want you all to picture a mother in a rural village in West Africa struggling with the effects of drought. Now, have you imagined that? After that, I want you now to imagine this story brought to life through vivid illustrations, powerful visuals, and a heartfelt narrative that connects our struggles to the broader issue of climate change. Now, my mother being a teacher, I see her use visual elements to tell stories, to teach children, especially toddlers. And these children are able to grasp this thing very fast because they tend to learn faster from what they see. Now, have you ever wondered how or when visual tales started or what it entails? Do not worry because this presentation will broaden your mind because visual storytelling is one of a kind. Now, Frank Darabont said visual storytelling is one kind or another has been around since cavemen were drawing on the walls. Now I'm going to the next slide, which is visual storytelling, a brief evolution. For every history made, you see, there is a story behind it and a background to it. But the question is, how did it all begin? Visual storytelling has deep roots, beginning with ancient cave paintings and hieroglyphics used to document lives and convey cultural stories. Over centuries, this art form evolved through illuminated manuscripts, Japanese ukiyo e-prints, and even more. The power of visual tales lies in their ability to transcend language barriers, communicating directly and emotionally through images, proving that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Going to the next slide, which is facts about tales. Now, there are solid facts that portray visual tales, which include visual tales which use imagery as the primary method of storytelling. They often evoke strong emotional responses without relying on without relying heavily on text. That's the second. Number three, they are versatile, appearing in formats like films, comics, photo essays, and digital art. Number four, visual tales can transcend language barriers, making them accessible to a global audience. Then number five, they engage viewers by allowing for personal interpretation of the imagery. Now going to the next slide, which is how visual tales stands out. Now, how do visual tales stand out? It is important to note that other tales are not left out this mode of storytelling. So we have data tales, video tales, written tales, oral tales. Now, the question again is how does visual tales stand out? Now, visual tales evoke emotions, making the story more impactful and relatable. It uses images to convey complex information quickly and efficiently. It can be easily understood. It requires audience interpretation, can be more memorable than other tales, making the story to be easily remembered. Content can be easily shared, making it more likely to go viral. Reaches a broader audience because images transcend language barriers. Now, I just hope with this few minutes I've spent, we've been able to um, convey clearly our points so far. So at this juncture, my co-presenter will take over. Co-presenter might be having a bit of technical issues, but since she's not here, I would quickly help her out. Now, the next slide is the pros and the cons of visual tales. You see, no matter how something is good, there's always the pros and the cons of adopting it. Now, what are the pros and cons of our visual tales? It's engaging. That is, visual tales captures attention and convey complex information in an engaging way, rather. Number two, universal language. That is, it transcends language barriers. Number three, emotional connection. Visual tales evoke emotions, creating a deeper connection with the audience. Number four, easy to consume. Number five, memory aid. That is, images aid memory retention. Number six, creative expression. Visual tales offer a unique platform for artistic expression. Speaking of the cons now, what I listed earlier are the pros. Now the cons, misinterpretation is the first. Now images can be misinterpreted or misunderstood. That is basic. Number two, limited context. Number three, cultural bias. That is, images can be culturally specific, potentially alienating some audiences. Number four, information overload. Number five, dependence on quality. Number six, accessibility limitations. To the next slide, improvement strategies for visual tales. Now, I stated that there are drawbacks. How can these be mitigated? Now, UCD, which is user-centered design, it involves your audience in the design process to ensure relevance and engagement. That is, now, if you want to improve your strategies for visual tales. Another is storytelling with data, then emotional connection. You connect with your audience emotionally, clear messaging. That is, keep visuals straightforward and ensure they deliver a clear, impactful message. Then iterative feedback. Continuously refine visuals based on audience feedback for ongoing improvement. To the next slide quickly. Evidence-based strategies to enhance the effectiveness of visual tales. Now, we integrate multiple representations, that is, combine visuals and...
Thank you very much. The time is up. So right away, quickly, we'll be moving on to the next. Okay, right away, quickly, we're moving on to the next group, which is oral group, if I'm right. Oral group, please take it up from there. Yes, oral group, please. Your time starts already. Oral tales, rather. Oral tales, the time starts already, please. And I have your presentation already, so please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I am Lawal Kasaladeko from Oral Tales, and I will be defending a proposal today titled Utilizing Oral Tales as a Means of Climate Change Awareness in West Africa. Have you ever wondered how storytelling move over time? While we are younger, we've learned or we've listened or we've gone through series of tales that they've told us already, tales about the tortoise, tales about things and that. And we can still remember it even as old as we are at this present moment. So oral tales, next slide, please.
Please, okay.
All right,
you have to continue
No
regardless.
problem. So oral tales as stories travel faster than words. It travels faster than birds, and stories as a way of compelling or being in our mind over years as time goes by. Perhaps the oldest method of communication, oral storytelling has played a vital part in many cultures worldwide, especially in West Africa. Don't forget, want to help Agent Tyler in promoting climate change in West Africa, climate change awareness in West Africa. Oral storytelling has served a way to pass down knowledge, share experience, and strengthen community bonds for centuries. That's helped us know more about ourselves by passing it down through generations. Now, let's quickly rush through the pros and and cons of oral tales. Now, the pros of oral tales include easy recollection. When you are being told a story, when you are being told something, you can easily recollect it because you live through the process. You are not writing it down, you are not reading it, you are living through the process, so you can easily recollect it. It has an intergenerational impact. The story that have been passed to us from our fathers till now has a way of impacting us. It is participatory. We can participate in it even as even as we have been told this story. You can ask questions and it can be understood. And then it's foster community bonding. When we are when we are being told something orally, we kind of know more about it. It's foster community bonding, and it can help us push our narrative of climate change awareness. And it is relatable. You know, when most of the folk tales out here, it is something that we can easily relate to. It is relatable. So those are the pros of um, oral tales. Now, moving through the cons of oral tales, we have limited accessibility. They are probably the oral tale for southwestern Nigeria is different from that of the northwestern Nigeria. It is different from that of Ghana. It is different from that of Benin Republic. It is very, very, it has limited accessibility. It has a language barrier. What I would say as a Yoruba man is different from what someone else would say as an Igbo man, as an Hausa man, or as a Ghanaian man is different. So it has language barrier. It has an impact measurement. It is hard to gauge the audience. It's hard to gauge the amount of people that are listening to the tale. And now misinterpretation can also lead to it can also kind of be one of the con of oral tales, because when you actually the story that has been told in a culture might be different, might be a different meaning entirely in another culture. And then speaker dependence, the person saying the story is the person that that will probably interpret the story or something. So that is one of the ways. Those are the ways, those are the disadvantages of using oral tales. Now we've gone through these advantages. Now we have the practical and evidence-based suggestion on managing and improving oral tales. And number one here is simplifying complex concepts. We as oral tale will break down simple concepts in such a way that people can easily understand it. We will break down context so that it will not be passed down through generation, and it will not really be redefined to some sort of things that will not be understood. And it's so that's one of the way. Cultural relevance. So we tailor it to specific cultures. So now for somebody in Southwest, your oral tale is accustomed to your cultures, your personal belief. For somebody in Ghana, it is custom to your belief. So now those type of tale, when we tailor it, it can resonate well with people better. And then intergenerational transmission, we encourage the storytelling across generation. So now when mostly now, if you kind of tell the tales to people that are young, they tell it to their children. I'll make sure that we get the basic concepts or the basic message, which is creating climate change awareness. Let our climate be better. We pass it down to our generations, to pass it down to our children so that they can pass it down to the next generation. And then community engagement. We use the storytelling to sparkle up climate discussion within the community settings in such a way that we can interact and relate to ourselves about climate, and we can now incorporate solutions. So there are strategies that we think, those are strategies that we know that oral tales can actually work better with. So management and improvement of oral tales, we train storytellers to convey climate change effectively. It's not of them just saying something. We want it to be conveyed effectively. We record oral tale for wider sharing, including digital platform. It can be recorded. Oral tale can actually move in every platform. Every written things is something that somebody has said over time. So everything it can be recorded. It can work well with other aspects of communication. And then we can collaborate with environmental organizations for accuracy when we are giving up our representations. And then we can establish stories, clubs, and schools to teach climate awareness, continuously gather feedback to ensure story remain effective and relevant. Now we have a 5-year plan to promote environmental sustainability through oral tale. And for the year one, we'll be doing research and development. Year two, community engagement. Year three, we'll be doing policy advocacy. Year 4 and 5, evaluation and sustainability. Now, for the 5-year plan, in year one, we are going to collect traditional tales from with environmental team. We are going to collect from different communities. We are going to develop educational materials with experts. We are not really going to be we are going to be experts. We are going to organize storytelling workshop for teachers and community members. For the year two, we host storytelling events. That's the community engagement. We need to go to the community, you understand, to tell them the oral tale so that it can be inbuilt in them. So we're going to host community events in schools and public spaces, partner with NGOs and community organizations such as bloggers, and then you share tales on social media to engage wider audience. And then for the policy advocacy, which is the year 3 goal, we are going to prepare policy briefing, highlighting the rules of oral tales. We are going to lobby for the support of environment. We are going to lobby for supportive environmental policy. We are going to use media to raise awareness about impact of storytelling, which is oral tales. And then for the year 4 and 5, we are going to evaluate campaign effective and behavioral changes. And we are going to develop a long-term sustainability plan. It's not enough for us to just go somewhere and just tell things. It's not enough to, it might probably change something on the short term, so I not really change it on the long term. We are going to develop a long-term sustainability plan for what we started, which is passing down this climate change awareness through generations. And we're going to establish storytelling libraries and festivals for preservations. Now, for the policy achievable through oral tales, we have integrate oral tales into school curriculum for environmental education. Those are one of the things that we can do. We can inspire community-based environmental action.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So interesting, but thank you very much. We have to go. Time is up already. Thank you. So to the next group right away, that will be written tales. Yes, please written tales. Please take up the mic immediately. Written tales. Your time starts now.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chimdalu Okide from Written Tales, and I'm going to be doing this presentation with my colleague, Nima. Written Tales, if you're in the house, please, I want to see the hashtag. Let's go. Can I see the next slide, please? Okay, so as we know, the reason we are all gathered here is because of plugin. So we felt that we needed to know how it came about. We are reminded once again that the name plugin was gotten from plugger and jogging, and then we keep fit to keep clean. This is all part of sustaining the planet. And also this Green Switch Academy plugin had their first academy ever in September 2019. And since then, they've been graduating people like you and I, and we are looking forward to our graduation. Also, the meaning of GSAG, as we know, is Green Switch Academic Group, and there are like 5 groups. Ours is number 1, as you can see, Written Tales. There are also oral, video, and visual, and data. Next slide, please. Okay, so we're going to have a brief introduction, the guidance of the pen, as we like to call ourselves, because of course we have to put the pen on the paper to give people tales that would last for over a decade. The reason for this type of GSA coming up was because we needed a way to communicate the crisis that the world was going to face. And we decided to use writing as a storytelling medium to spread the word across about the dangers of the way we live on the planet. Next slide, please. Okay, so the Written Tales GSAG, we've come together and we wielded our pens in battle against the latest foe called the climate change. We are fighting with our biros by putting down the things that would make people understand carefully crafted narratives and painting vivid pictures of the dangers ahead so that people can read and pass down. As we know, the book never dies. Even on the Titanic, they were still found some books and jewels that were stored in the box. The next one, please. So we're going to look at the pros of the written. Sorry, just a second. We're going to look at the pros. No, can you zoom out, please? It's so. What's wrong with this? Okay, yes, thank you. Now, the pros of written tools for climate change action, as we can see, is accessibility, cost effectiveness, because when you write, you can pass it down and you don't have to travel everywhere to make yourself present for, as we can see in the oral presentation. Then we also have the memorability and permanence, the depth and drafts. When you put your pen to writing, you can talk about writing is a way to travel and take people to different parts of the world. That is why we have so many things written down and we are presenting it now. There's no writing without, there's no communication without writing. Most times when people want to remember things that they've read, you have flashcards, and those flashcards are made up of write-ups. There is also multilingual potential, right? We can interpret it as, you know, we in Nigeria, we're very religious, and even the Bible is not communicated orally. The Bible is written. So if the Bible and the Quran are taking the written approach, who are we not to? Next slide, please. For everything that has an advantage, of course, there's a disadvantage, but like as we can see, the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. Now, we're not saying that the disadvantages makes this type of approach bad. We're just acknowledging them so that we can be able to draw out like the mitigation pattern to be able to combat these drawbacks. Some of them are some of them are production and distribution cost. Sometimes the cost of paper, as you know, the prices of things keep increasing. There's inflation, there's language barrier, because sometimes when you write things in English, people don't know. There's also the educational illiteracy factor. There's emotional manipulation. Some people are very good at writing and they tend to tell the stories the way they want it to be perceived, not the actual way they are. Next slide, please. Now, we're going to look at the mitigation of these drawbacks. For mitigating the challenges that we mentioned, we have decided that language adaptation, imaginative visualization, digital distribution, serialization, interactive elements, community reading programs, collaboration with local artists, and simplifications. So most times, yes, there's a language barrier, but there's always there's something called an interpreter, and we can use them to develop our written tools in different languages by also collaborating with local people, the local artists. They can explain these things to us. Community reading programs is a program where we encourage people to learn how to read, because as we know, even in the olden days, they had writing pads, the slate, as the Igbos will say, onye tiwalu slate, but onye mara akwụkwọ. So the slate is for writing. There are different ways to write and keep it down. When as for the Christians, when God wanted to give them instructions, he gave them on a slab, right? So writing has always been there. The Greeks write on the wall. There are writings everywhere in history. Next slide, please. These are the list of inclusive policies. Next slide, because we repeated them there and then talked about how to implement them. So from here, we can see that although it's a 5-year plan, we decided to divide our own into 4 years because we want to finish implementation. And then the 5th year, we're going to use it to monitor these changes and make sure that there's active progress, because you cannot just set up a plan and leave it running. We have to make sure that everything is being implemented. The educational reform, the community-based conservation, sustainable agriculture, urban planning, waste management and recycling. These are the ones we're going to cover in the first 3 years. And then for the 4th year, we're going to have youth empowerment, because these youths are also going to help us to make sure we drive this force and get everybody environment conscious in the 5th year. Next slide. Like Maya said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, they will forget what you did. But guess what? People will never forget how you made them feel. This is what good writing does. It makes you feel so good. So brace yourself, guardians, West African soldiers, Greenies, and all of the humanity. Join GSAG Written Tales on this remarkable journey to 2030 and beyond. Hashtag GSAG Written Tales. Together, we'll make the future bright. Now, this is a link to one of the stories we have written to make you understand the effect of our actions on the climate. And trust me, when you start reading it, you're going to want more. We couldn't do more than that because we don't want to bore you, but written tools have always been in place and they are here to stay. We are going to take questions now. Of course, we have our references because we did not plagiarize our work. We referenced it and every.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that amazing speech. So to the last Green Switch Academic group, by the way, which is the video tales. Please, yes, the video tales should continue right away.
Good evening,
Video
Jason.
tales. Continue.
Okay. Existing protocols. I'm here to present on using video as a form of storytelling to solve the mystery of climate change awareness. Now, what comes to mind when you hear video tales? Video tales entails using virtual auditory to create an immersive experience. It all began through the introduction of digital technology, which aims to address the knowledge gap by putting a virtual meaning in exploring and explaining climate change. Even to those who can't read or write, it speaks to all. According to Mura 2018, he emphasized on the understudy of using video tales. Hence, more research is needed to enhance the effectiveness of video tales. This video tales actually contributes to climate change by engaging diverse communities. You can't go wrong with videos because whatever you see, whatever you watch, has a way to linger in our subconscious mind. It reveals the impact of climate change, thereby promoting empathy and fostering a cultural shift towards sustainability. Now we have a video of someone who went to the future. The person saw how the world had become, then came back to us. Now we have a video on our slide. Please, can you help us play the video?
What slide is the video in?
Video 15, slide 15.
There is no play button here.
I sent it to Gisam and is it there?
I can't read my end, so I've tried it. So please continue. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I can. I've tried it here. It's not showing up. You have to continue.
Oh, we
Sorry
really
about that.
need to show this video.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
Okay. The concept of the video actually is just to show everyone what the health has become due to the way we finger things and climate change. So this video will actually to help different and diverse communities to understand what climate change is all about, the effects of this climate change, on our world and the future damages on it. So please, can you move to the pros and cons of our slide? Okay, thank you. Now, before I talk about these pros and cons, I want to talk about how we can actually leverage social media with this video tools. Social media has made it easy in communicating and passing information to everyone, even those who can't hear. Watching something will actually give them a glimpse of what the video is actually talking about, like reflecting what needs to be done in the video. It's actually pained me that we can't actually play this video because it has a lot of information to pass in this our presentation. But then I would just say that video tales actually helps in virtual auditory to create an immersive experience. And in creating this experience, it helps to bridge the gap of those who can read or write in understanding what it's all about. In conclusion, I would say video tales helps to empower individuals to become agents of change in addressing climate change and also building a more sustainable future for generations to come. So I will end with this. With video tales, you can never misinform, and what you watch tends to linger in your subconscious mind for a very long time. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you very much. A sincere apology to video teams for not being able to share their. This is what we do to make it up to you. Personally, link it up so that discuss. For that,
And sorry, please, is there a way I can share my screen there?
yeah, let me. Oh, your time is up already. Very
No,
sorry.
I think. Sorry, can you hear me? I think she has like a minute. So if you can do that, please.
Okay,
Bye.
please go. I still
Yes, I am.
okay. Please, space of 60 seconds. Okay.
Bolatito, are you not sharing your screen anymore?
That's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, because your time is actually up in a few seconds.
Oh.
That's the timer. The time is up.
Okay, ma. Well, can we send the video to you for acknowledgement? Because we
We'll get back
actually
to
put in a lot of effort to that.
yeah, we'll get back to you on that. Sorry.
No.
To put up to present it. But I don't know. Can we see the screen now, please?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Actually, please.
Just we can't actually hear you.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
It's breaking badly.
Basically, I guess it's the network. Okay. Because of time and the network, I guess let's just
But
move
it's
on to.
better now, though.
Okay, let me just rush through. At the point, if you cannot hear me, let me just know. I said the poem is titled from one of our lectures in the course of this academy. So it goes just by saying, Dear universe, O Mother Earth, the only planet that accepts life, either 8 or 9, that's the number of solar system. My actions were thoughtless, my heart astray. I have changed your color and never accepted your doings. Your beauty is fading, your future unsure. I have contributed to the arms that endure. But still, you gave me life, all I need. And for that, I am grateful indeed. I have cut down your trees to increase your carbon footprint. I brush my teeth with my tap open with a careless hand. I ordered both alone for 2 minutes journey. Yet, to all effect, I still blame you. Henceforth, I will reduce, reuse, recycle, and conserve. I will be a guardian and help you deserve a healthier planet, a brighter day where you can flourish better way. So the whole summary and why I present this is that done 6 different lectures in different angles to show us how we can be conscious of our environment. The energy is high, the house is intense about what we ate. So I would just beseech our graduates, because by tomorrow we'll be graduating, that all this knowledge should not just be a waste of time. Many of a shorter of what you actually jotted down throughout this course of the academy. But it will be wrong if those books are closed and you do not take practical actions. The essence of this academy is for members to be conscious, and then we believe that at the end of this academy, whenever we'll be seeing you not just a graduate of this academy, but doing practical things, reach the gospel of environment, reach green, preach to other people, and let them know what you've learned. So do not hide the information, and we believe that Mother Earth will be with you. So quickly, to end the section, let's meet at our arena, which is the WhatsApp group, to take the last order of the section. So I'm waiting for you at the other end. Thank you very much.
Okay, everyone, let's head to the WhatsApp group chat for the rest of tonight's activities. I'll be ending the meeting now. Thank you.